Aloha and welcome to Hawaii Preppers Network 808. I'm going to discuss something that I have not heard in the prepper community speak upon, and I feel as though I think this is one of the things that I feel we need to address. Knowing when enough is enough, meaning how much more does one need to prep and continuously stock up? I want to also take a look at our age, because this is significant as a prepper too. And there's preppers that are diverse and in a lot of different areas preparedness wise, and preppers that are in different age brackets. I'm seeing a lot of older preppers out here and a lot of young preppers as well. And my thinking is, when you're in your 70s, how much more would you need to be stocking up? Will your stockpile outlive you? And then, if so, what will happen to all of that? Now, I truly understand if you have a family that is all on board, if there is only two of you and your other half is on board as well. But what happens if everyone is not on board and they're just going to dump everything or donate it and get rid of it? These are some of the things that a lot of us would have to really think about and decide when enough is enough. As we age, we are susceptible to health issues, and that could be a deciding factor on, kind of slowing down and or stopping as well. But if there are only two of you and you're the only one that is on board, and your other half wouldn't know what to do with the stockpiles that you have collected, what happens then? I have a neighbor that checked out last year. It was only him and his wife, and he was a prepper. He stockpiled a lot of different things. And as soon as he passed, his wife had no idea what to do with everything that he had. And she found more and more things, and she didn't know exactly what to do with everything. He also had 2 refrigerators, and it was stocked with all kind of things in there. So she ended up dumping it all, donating it all, and he gardened a whole lot, so he had a super green thumb, and she had no idea how to do any gardening. It was as if there was a communication breakdown when it came to his preparing. So I guess she was not on board, so she didn't really learn the things that he acquired and or his skills that he had. So she ended up just getting rid of a great majority of his things, his preps. Now, you start to think about these things when you get into your 60s, I believe. Maybe in your 50s as well. But anything below that, your mind isn't even there yet. But when you start getting older and older, these things start popping up into your head. What are you going to do with everything? How much longer do you need to stockpile things? And, will the stockpile outlive you? Majority of the time, your stockpiles do outlive you, especially if you don't shuffle through it in a timely manner and you just continue to stockpiling and not rotate or any of those things. I mean, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but that does become the case for quite a few people. I think as long as the communication lines are open there and you talk to one another, you let one another know things, ahead of time, ahead of the curve, why you're doing the things that you're doing, the importance of stocking up and preparing in all the other disasters, inflation, and so on. I think that is very important, and it's important to highlight that with the family members, with your other half, if there's only two of you. Ideally, it would be great if everyone was on the same page, but unfortunately, it's not like that for a lot of preppers. My thinking is, if you know that your time is coming up, I think the best thing to do would be to start distributing, selling, perhaps donating some of your preps, especially if no one's on the same page as you and your other half is clueless to prepping. That way it doesn't really go to waste, like how I saw my neighbor do with all the things that her husband prepped for. So yeah, these are things to really think about. And I think it would be very beneficial if a lot of the older preppers, like in the 70s, the later 60s, perhaps going into the 80s, to come online and start discussing these things, because these things are very important as well. And they've spent a lot of money in a lot of preparedness items, gear, and everything. So this is really important stuff. I'd like to know in the preparedness community what you all think. Comment below. Share your advice, tips, anything that you can think of. If you're up there in age, comment, express what your plans are and how you're going to redistribute your preps. If something comes up with you, maybe a health issue that is unavoidable and makes you completely stop prepping, or any of these things that occur to the older preppers. I'd really, really love to hear from the older preppers, because these are really important things to address as a prepper as we age. I'm not quite in my 70s yet, and so I'm just 60 right now, but these things do circulate in my head, in my thoughts, like, what am I going to do with everything? Who am I going to donate it to or give it to? All of these things need planning done as well. I feel that this is part of preparedness as well, because you're planning on perhaps distributing your stockpile to someone that perhaps really needs it, and or is a prepper as well, despite your family members not being preppers, and your other half, if there's only two of you. That way all of your efforts and all of the money that you spent on your preps have not gone to waste. If anything, start distributing it beforehand, because I have known a few people that have been preppers and have passed away, and they stockpiled so much things, and it makes me wonder, where did all of their preps go after that? So I just wanted to come on here and address these things, see what you got in the comments, and share away. Thanks guys. Aloha.